part of this with dogs and livestock, dogs in general, is just exposing them to the situations that they're going to be experiencing progressively harder, and then get a little easier and then harder again. Basically challenging her understanding of what I'm trying to show her. Calmness and control around livestock, response to commands around livestock, positive attitude when responding to commands, quick responses, even in the midst of distraction. So the way you do that is by distracting them and then asking them for something and then helping them get right. So I usually start out with a little bit of obedience. I don't always. Sometimes we go straight to work. And then a big part of this too, especially in the beginner stage, is exposure to the livestock. Let her know what's right. Let her know what's wrong. Let her get a feel for it. Let her make mistakes. So a lot of the stuff that I do in the beginning, I'm not commanding. I'm just directing with my body pressure, scolding a little bit, maybe with my voice if I need to get her attention. And then always asking her to respond to the things that I know that she knows. So there again, that she learns that just because I'm busy, I'm doing other things. I asked for a down. I intended to get a down. I intended for her to stay in a down until I called her name. So I'm going to apply pressure, scolding verbally, blocking her from what she was wanting, trying to get her attention basically with my scolding and blocking. And then when she responds to it by going back into her down, I release the pressure and she's no longer in trouble. So she starts to learn what's right and what's wrong, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And then upholding this throughout the rest of her training and the rest of her life as a stock dog is what's going to keep those responses nice and sharp. So if you let that go, if you tell her to down, you let her get up when she wants to get up, you let it go, the next time you ask her to down, you're likely to get a slow down, a hesitant down, a down that doesn't stay, a down that's not all the way down. So your criteria just has to be clear. Elbows on the ground, do not get up, do not vocalize until I ask you to. Oakley. And then recall always to my feet to where I can get my hands on the dog, okay? So if I call her name, I want her to orient to me. I don't want her to ignore me, continue doing what she was wanting to do, or run away from me. I definitely want her to orient to me. Sometimes when we get to start actual real jobs and chores, I might just call her name to get her attention. But I want her, as soon as she hears her name, to orient to me and start making her way to me. And then I can redirect her as needed. That comes later, so that's not something I'm going to do at this point in time. But I will start probably calling her name when we're on livestock and getting her to recall to me, and then putting her back to work so that she learns that the recall is not a punishment. It's not just to take her away from the livestock. The recall is just for her to pay attention to me and reorient, and then I'll tell her where to go from there.